Hi there, this is Billy. I've made a video about creating your own antique-like phonograph with a gramophone horn speaker, a tune-arm, and a soundbox. After that, it works, but I think there's some instability about that. So the drum tracks and the sound is not that nice. So I've made a few improvements. I changed the tune-arm a bit so that it will rotate up and down. Make sure the needle is always pointing at a right angle to the surface of the turntable. I also made a twist on the angle of the first elbow joint will be 60 degree instead of 90 degree, so the needle can align back to the pivot of the stand, so it can move in the same radius. I also spray painted the whole thing in gold instead of white PVC pipes, and I put in a stabilizer at the base of the needle holder, so the needle will not move too much sideways, and that makes the sound a little bit better. So let's hear the demonstration, and then the rest of the video will be to show you how to make it step by step. I must admit I cheated a bit by not creating the turntable itself. I just made use of an old ruined turntable with the tune-arm already removed, and I replaced it with the acoustic tune-arm. Rotating tune-arm, so you can move up and down where the soundbox is connected. The soundbox is made of tin can, and the other side is covered by acrylic board, very thin acrylic board. The whole stand sits on a rotatable base, So this is all set. We just need to hook up the horn speaker. Then put on a record. I don't have a 78 turns record, so I only got a 33 and a third turn record. Someone told me that this is not as good as a 78 turns record, but that's all I have, so let's try. Let me show you this Tonearm. It is made of a few components. First, this is a base. Then I took it from a wheel, rotating wheel. And then I stick a PVC pipe so I can attach this sub pipe that plug into this T-joint. And then another longer pipe at the top so I can connect with the curvy pipe for the gramophone horn speaker. I connect to another long pipe. They are the 20 mm PVC pipes. So I spray painted to go to make it look more like antique. And then there's this 60-degree joint. I have to cut the regular L-shaped joint, 90-degree joint, and then stick them back together to make this 60-degree joint. So the needle will align back to this center of the pole. Next, I have this rotating arm. I cut a slit in this L joint, and then I have to make the wall a little bit thinner so I can hook up this PVC pipe inside and freely rotatable. And then there's another L joint, and the soundbox is connected to another PVC pipe. I'm using the end of a tin can. And then we have the needle connected to this holder here. The needle is made of some staple needles. It's a thumb tag like this, thumb tag. So I just cut it up from there because the size is suitable for needle for the gramophone. So that's the whole construction of the Tonearm. And when you don't play, you lift it up like that. When you play, you push it down, and then the weight will force the needle to touch the record like that. So it's touching my finger now. Whoa. To make this rotating joint, first you need to take an L joint, cut a slit here. The size of the slit should be able to allow an M3 screw to move freely. And then we use this to make this wall thinner so that you can put in a 20 mm PVC pipe and spin freely. Lastly, you insert the screw to this hole. So you have the rotating joint. This is the rotating base where we'll put in the stand. So I just take this rotating wheel, get rid of the wheel, and then put in this PVC pipe. This is a thickest pipe. And then you can insert a 20 mm PVC pipe on top. There are different ways you can make the soundbox. You can use a tin can and cut out acrylic boards, very thin acrylic boards, to be the base and the vibrating membrane. Or you can just use the end of a tin can and just use the tin on the bottom to be the vibrating membrane, and then put in another acrylic board on top to fit the sound to the pipe. This type of thin acrylic boards I have is very elastic. You can just use a regular scissor to cut it. You are making this out of a CD-ROM. The plastic there is more fragile, and you can use the blower to heat it up, and then you can use the scissor to cut it. It will not crack that way. You need to make two covers like this. One with a 80mm hole, so you can put in the 20mm PVC pipe. This is what I'm drilling. And then on another one, you need to drill a M3 hole, 3mm hole, to put in the screw that connects to the needle.
啊，今晚又要開會。 So one of the adjustment I did is to put in a stabilizer for the needle holder. So this is the stabilizer. I just bend a 1mm copper wire, drill a hole at this block of screws, so the needle will not flip-flop, slide sideways so much. And once you have this, the needle will stay on. Lever effect, where a small vibration here will become a big vibration at the tin can. And then ideally you should solder this in place or put in a couple of screws to fix it, but I'm just doing an experiment, so let's just stick it with your tape. That's it. After you put it in place, make sure you align it better with the holes there. You're not touching the edge of the hole, otherwise it will create some squawky sound. Okay, so that's your sound box and your needle.